Hello YouTubers and welcome to another episode. Today, like I said yesterday, we shifted the water session around because the weather yesterday was rubbish, but in actual fact Charlie said let's not go in the water because it's too windy and the water was flat. But we've shifted it around and today we get to get on the water in the morning. Oh, and the water is actually flat. Absolutely fantastic. So the wind's dropped down. Rain has stopped for now, so maybe famous last words and the rain will come back on. But we've got probably the flattest water currently that I've seen here while I'm actually going to be going on the water. So maybe we'll be able to get some off the water blades rowing. But now we're going to get in to the boat house behind me, get changed, a little bit of stretching, feeling not stiff, but I could do with a little bit of stretching this morning. Maybe I'll make another vlog about the stretching. So let's get into the club. Oh, look at all these lovely boats. Looks like the GB Stark people and Bath and everything are going out in their singles. Maybe one day I'll get in my single. So let's get to it. And we've made it off the water after some adventurous almost swimming. Oh yeah! And we've made it back to the house. Charlie, unfortunately, or fortunately, is away doing some business this afternoon, so the weight session will be by myself. So going back to the video I made a couple of weeks ago now about training by yourself and motivating yourself to train when you are alone. But today, it's just one session and it's weights as well. And weights, I mean generally you do weights by yourself, it's just the chat in between weights that is when other people make it more fun. So as long as you can talk to yourself, you can have a bit of fun. But pretty decent rowing session. Hopefully these shots showed that. Some people always ask about the shots, about the rotating camera. It's a GoPro Fusion, so it's a 360 camera. And you can basically, when you're editing, or when I will edit tonight, you can choose where you're looking, where the camera points to, which gives it a really cool effect. And hopefully the rowing looked okay too, because it felt like I'm a bit more in control of what I'm doing, and that's coming every session. It's growing, it's getting better. Obviously there's still a lot of progress to be made, but I think even we've not been in the water too many times, a lot of progress has been made. So let's keep going, Yam Squad. But now it's time to fuel up, getting some chicken and rice. Oh yeah! And now we have fueling up time. Cooked a kilo of rice, so that's this pan here, and that's a kilo dry rice, so about more, not dry rice. And then I've got 900 grams of chicken with some chorizo as well, and there's these spice packets. Where did I put it? So there's these spice packets them from Aldi. I've used this one, a peri peri deliciousness, but they come in many different flavors, and yes, it's not exactly great for you. It's just a bunch of salt and sugar in a packet, but it makes eating high volumes of food very, very easy, because when your food isn't flavored that well, it's a bit more difficult to eat. Same with the rice. Sticking in a bit of stock or whatever when you're cooking the rice makes it all the more easy to eat. So that's a big tip. Those little spice packets come in loads. I think there's like 5 or 6 flavors, and if you ever see them in barbecue, make sure to send them all to me, because they're absolutely delicious and I can never seem to find them. Hence why I've got all of these flavors here, but no barbecue, because there rarely is. And as you can see as well, we've got about a week's worth of rice there. And now to put the bowl, and I want to show you the actual size of bowl I'm using. So here's like a normal size bowl. It's about this size. And here's my bowl here. And so that was funny because I've always used that bowl, or I've used that bowl a lot, this bowl specifically. And until I brought it here, and it was like, that's a serving bowl, that's not a dinner bowl or a food bowl. But to me it's a food bowl, because it makes it, that's another thing to make it easier to eat. It's just strange, if you have sort of the food in a bigger bowl, it's easier to eat, or at least for me it is anyway. But now, putting the food here. Yes. And that's us prepared the bowl. So here's the bowl here. We'd quite like to weigh it actually. I wonder if I have to scale somewhere. But that is lunch. I'll probably add some sauce to make it even more edible. And this will be, or not lunch, this is breakfast. Then this will be lunch or dinner. And then I'll have a meal in between to sort of basically half this rice. So maybe 400 grams of rice dry in this bowl, and then 2 400s left if it's not dry. It's quick maths. But now it's time to fuel up, because I'm getting pretty hungry after that session. I had a little bit of a bar after the session to make sure I have fuel in there, but now time to fuel up. Oh yeah! And we've made it to the end of the chicken and rice for today to fuel up after the first session. We've got another session of weights to do post Yam's nap. Isn't that right, Yam? Oh yeah! But a lot of news coming out over the last day or two of cancelling rowing events, which is understandable. We don't want to spread the coronavirus to sort of the rowing athletes of the world. So the first, if you haven't heard already, the World Cup 1, World Cup 2 and Europeans have been cancelled this year, and I'm pretty sure it said there's no adjustment here, yeah, no plans to reschedule, so that's pretty unfortunate. Would you agree, Yam? So it's really interesting this year, as obviously it's Olympic year. These events are used to prep for the Olympics themselves, to give crews ideas of how they do in a race environment, how they do together, if there are any changes that need to be made, because usually in international racing it's quite difficult to get a lot of high level races throughout the season. Usually the World Cups and the European Championships are used as those opportunities to race and to find out how a crew works. So not only are those opportunities being reduced, and I know other crews around the world are communicating with each other to see if they can race together at roughly the same times as the World Cups were going to be. For example, I know there's going to be, I think I saw on Instagram about a race in Norway where a few of the world's best scullers are going to go race each other, but that is, I think that's just a comment chain on Instagram that perhaps been planning on it for a while, perhaps not, but things like that could work really well in lieu of the World Cups and races not happening. So we'll see what kind of goes on as we go forward. A lot of things, obviously no one really knows what's going to happen in the long term, how long this type of thing is going to last. But I think the best thing, like I spoke about the other day, when it's just a case of taking care of yourself, fueling right, whether it's getting the right amount of fuel as well as getting the right amount of nutrition, so whether it's vitamins and minerals, and obviously making sure you wash your hands as much as, not necessarily as much as possible, but wash your hands to make sure they are clean and you're not transferring either germs around or you're getting germs transferred to you and then via your hands to you, making you ill. But the next sort of couple of months are going to be really interesting regarding sort of racing schedules. The third World Cup in Lucerne, which is always, or pretty much always in Lucerne, is still going ahead. So that World Cup's going to be intense. That's going to be a savage World Cup because, like I said, there's not going to be a lot of racing opportunities for crews through the summer, and that is going to be sort of the last event, one of the last events before the Olympic Games this year. And the qualification regattas, like the Europeans and the qualification regattas throughout the world have been changed, postponed, or cancelled. So crews that were going to go there are going to be shifting their focuses onto different races so that they can get qualified for the Olympic Games as well. So it's bringing in a whole slew of different events or different scenarios for many different crews, whether it's they've not been qualified, they need to qualify before the Olympic Games to get to the Olympic Games, but that might be cancelled. So then where do they go? Where's the next qualification place and all that? So stay tuned. Keep your eyes, keep your ears on the ground listening to see what happens. But like I said, all we can do is kind of see what's going to happen. Now what Yam and I are going to do, as Yam's fallen asleep, he's getting absolutely huge, we're going to get ready to head into the gym. And today, like I said, Charlie isn't going to be there, so I'm going to do a little bit of experimenting with the montage today. So we'll see what happens, but I'm not really sure how it will work. So let's get to the gym and get some deadlifts in, oh you. And we've made it outside on the way to the Yam Drover. There she is over there, walking up the big old hill with a beautiful view of Bath over there. Absolutely fantastic. But do I dare say it? Do I dare think it? Springtime? Are you here? Finally, but definitely a bright day. I don't even have a jacket on. It might even be above 10 degrees. For those of you in Britain, I think the winter is coming to a close. For those of you around the world, wherever you are, whether you're heading into winter, sorry to hear that. If you're heading out of winter, fingers crossed we're almost there. But now, we've reached the Yam Drover, and we're going to get to the gym for some of that experimentating of the montage. So let's get to it. And we've made it outside of the gym post-gym session. Absolutely fantastic. Pretty good session. Ended up, Charlie came for the last half of the session, so less alone than I anticipated being. But as always, there's PTs in here, or at the gym you are, there's hopefully at least other people around to maybe have a chat to, if they want to, if you want to. But as always, a little bit of positivity goes a long way, whether it's you speaking to yourself or you speaking to someone else, or just that aiming somewhere. But let's push that positivity, Yam Squad, to seeing about the rest of the rowing events going on in the world post sort of the World Cups. So we have the World Cup 1 and 2 not going ahead, Europeans not going ahead. So let's, fingers crossed, Yam Squad, positivity, sending that the other events do go ahead and everything goes well through 2020. But now, as always, after a weight session, it's time to fuel up, and that will be it for today's episode, Yam Squad. Hopefully you have enjoyed it as much as I have, and hopefully as much as I have editing. And as always, remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Hit that like button, and I will see you tomorrow. What day is it? Thursday tomorrow? For another episode of the vlogs. Oh yeah!